Well, everybody, that was an absolute shit show. So, quick question before I drop into our little intro video. What film is this from? Enhance your calm. Enhance your calm. I will be back in a moment. Good evening, everybody. This is the local pundit. I am Paddy Power. Ken is here with me, and this is WREXtra Time. We have just finished up an absolute disgraceful match at home playing Stevenage. They beat us 3-0. We were never ahead. They were 2 goals ahead at home, the only team this season to even get 2 goals ahead of us. And then they pulled it out for a 3-2 win. So today's WREXtra Time is going to be fun. So, Ken, can you answer my question? Do you know the film where the quote came from? Enhance your calm.
Nope, I do not.
Okay, then I'm going to leave it open for the comments, guys. Did anybody... okay, I've seen one person has it. So I'm going to say hello to everybody, and then I will call out whoever the first person is. So Shenandoah Daddy, new member, thank you very much for joining us today and joining us as a member. Local pundit is here, that's me. Kelly Davidson, yes, that was a train wreck, and happy to head to work and not have to deal with this. Take your mind off it and listen to us when you can. Michael Hillier is in the house. Lots of comments. Tess is here. Dan Moore. James Lee. Brian Smith. Hugh D. No one seems to be happy, of course. Chris. Brian Smith. Anyone else I've missed yet? No, not yet. Loads of comments here. And I think, if I'm not wrong, James Lee got the answer to the question. Demolition Man. Enhance your calm, John Spartan. Okay, Scott is here, and I think he sums it up nice and quickly. Utter dog shit. Shite. Utter dog shite. Welsh Techie is in the house. Blank Canvas is here. He had lots to say during the match. So if you want to come join us, by all means. Hip Karma is here to say a quick hello. And before I forget, I'm going to throw the invite link out there. Because, guys, if nobody jumps in to join me, this will be a very quick rant, and I will be done. So...
Wow. Okay, then.
Well, no, I'll rant first. I will rant for a while, but there will be no 90 minutes tonight unless anybody else wants to come in and share their thoughts. So... I have put the StreamYard link out there. Now, Ken, do you want to start while I'm still calming down?
Do I want to start? Seriously. When are we going to learn that, A, Elliot Lee's not playing anywhere near as good as he did last season, B, Palmer and Lee up front doesn't score a goal? Just doesn't happen. So, I want to know what goes through Parky's mind. What's his thought process if Palmer gets injured? Because he's not willing to try anything else. And if Palmer gets injured, he can't play Fletcher for 90 minutes, full stop. We know that, and I'm fine with that. So how about we try something different? We've got a squad. It's called a squad for a reason.
Yeah, we have to do something up front about this Lee Palmer. It does not work. And we have known for a while that it does not work. What is Parky seeing about it? I don't know. I don't see what he sees because I certainly don't.
Well, Paddy, here we go. Answer me this question.
Go on.
When we're in trouble and we're down and we have to score goals,
yeah,
he takes Palmer off.
Yeah,
he moves Lee back to the midfield. And he brings on Fletcher, Mullen, and Marriott because he needs to score goals. How about we score goals at the start of the match?
Yeah, That's an interesting thought process. Like, okay, we need to score goals, we have to attack, so we take Palmer off and move Lee. So then it's not working. Normally, with his formations and his players, he keeps it the same and he trusts his players. James, Tess, and Steve Barton. I see you in the back there, guys. I'll bring everybody in just a couple of minutes.
I can't wait to hear what
let
other
us
people
rant for
say.
just a couple of minutes, and then we'll bring everyone in.
I can't hear what other people say. I really want to hear other people's opinion on this.
Yeah, we won't be long. We won't take too long on this. So yeah, like Mullen and Marriott, they're getting closer. They have to be getting closer. If they're being brought on at the end, and if that's your attacking option, like why they're not coming on from the start, I don't get. Okay, something I may have missed in the comments here. Kelly Davison, no one wants back-to-back-to-back promotion more than Parky. It would make his career. You are all way too emotional saying silly things. That must be in the chat. I must be missing some comments there because I haven't mentioned anything about Parky not wanting to go up or that he doesn't want to do it. That's not my point anyway at all. So there must be some comments in there that people are saying Parky out maybe at this stage. Oh, James is pointing at himself. So maybe that'll be interesting to talk about in a moment. Happy to hear everything on that. So let's see. Okay. Chris, y'all really trying to gatekeep being emotional after a loss? No. Again, I'm not quite sure who he's talking to. Maybe comments again. Okay, Welsh Techie here. Well, that wasn't fun. Not surprised we finally got what we paid for. That was coming. It was absolutely coming. Been flattering to see for a while, and tonight we got found out. Okay, we're allowed to be emotional. Yeah, absolutely. I am. Okay, blank canvas. Fortunately, there is still time in transfer, and maybe the owners realize it is going to take some serious investment for a decent striker if there's any chance of getting promoted. Well, absolutely. After performance like this tonight, we might actually have our prices increased on us for any players we are looking at. We might end up spending an extra couple of 100,000 based on that performance. Okay, Steve Barden. Losing at home to Stevenage is embarrassing, yes. Sitting £1 million on the bench is unconscionable. We should have sat Parky at halftime. Thanks for making me laugh. That was funny. I like that, Steve. Okay, nearly through the comments here. Okay, Hip Karma, being a little bit more positive. Not staying as I'm busy this morning and frankly don't need the negativity. Okay, I will only say it's the first loss of the season at home. We are hardly sucking people. I see that point. Yes, I do see that point. But as we all know, we tend to focus on a single match at a time after the matches happen. So a lot of it is aiming at that. But we will obviously discuss trends and stuff like that. A defeat like this was coming at some point. You know, we have spoken about the negative parts in our game. We have spoken about how we have been lucky numerous times. So there is a bit of negativity there. And I always have to kind of say, I can't do that. That's fine. I always have to kind of say, if we end up in the playoffs this season, I'm happy with that. I am. I won't personally be disappointed if that's where we end up at the end of the season. But when you are this close to an automatic playoff spot, you have to go for it. And when it doesn't work, you know, of course, people are going to be upset when they get that close. And we're still close enough. Bad results happen. We still have the rest of the season. At the moment, we're still only really fighting one team. Wycombe won today, and they're starting to open a little bit of a lead on us. But Huddersfield didn't do the business tonight, but that was against Birmingham. So they haven't gained any points on us either. So there are some overall positives that I'm sure we will hit on. Okay, loads more comments. So I'm going to jump ahead. I'm going to bring in our guests. So, James and Steve, hello, hello.
What's going on, brother?
Okay, sound is working. I can hear you perfectly. So let's give each of you 2 minutes before we hit any particular topic. Just in general,
Go ahead,
anything
Steve.
you'd like to say?
So I guess my biggest point was I'm really frustrated with the fact that we had £1 million of talent sitting on the bench at the start of the day.
Okay, so specific.
Why do we bring in? What? Well, I'm talking about
which players?
all of the talent that we just signed.
Okay, right.
And it just seems like, why do we sign this talent and then not put them on the field? It doesn't make any sense to me, and I think it costs us today. Because the game improved the moment that they came on. Did you see it?
Yeah.
So why are we having Elliott Lee and Palmer up front when we've paid literally £1 million for two people up front? Between Mo Fowl and Marriott, not to mention Mullen, we've got a lot of talent, and why are we putting our two worst players up there? I don't know. So that's my point. Okay,
fair enough. James?
It's I've been saying this for weeks now. Parkinson refuses to rotate, and it's going to bite us in the butt because in games like this, the older players relax. They think they can save their legs. You saw it tonight on the back end with AO. They did not communicate because they were relaxing, and it ended up costing us, at least 2 goals? At least because of miscommunication?
At least.
Because nobody was talking. Everybody was lackadaisical. Everybody was relaxing. But if you put Revan back there, if you put, on wing, if you give the older guys a game off and you put in the younger guys, like I've been screaming for at least a month, they play up and they roll that team. And then next week at the away game, when the older guys, Macca gets a rest because he had a car wreck a week ago. And Parky doesn't give him a game off. What the fuck? He got the goddamn car wreck and you didn't give him a match off.
You think you wanted a game off?
No, I
don't care if he did or didn't. You give him a fucking game off. You take that fucking away from him. You tell him, Mac, go sit down. You're taking the game off. You got in a car wreck. I love you, brother, but you're taking the game off.
Okay.
Now, you take that choice away from him for his own safety.
Okay. Right. Rotation. Yeah, totally agree. The Macca thing, I do have some issue with. And I'll tell you for why. If you're going to take Macca off because of potential injury or giving him a break or giving him a rest, you have to do it for Birmingham. You don't wait.
Yeah,
you don't play him.
I was not happy with him playing last week. But
okay, that's fine. Relax a little,
this
James,
week,
relax.
give him the fucking game off.
Okay, relax. James, please, relax just a little bit. Right. So from that side of it, yes, I can understand that. And if you want to do that, if you want to take him out for the Birmingham match, fine. But that's a Parky call. And if he had done it, if James had come in and said, I'm playing, and Parky said, you're not, end of, that's fine. I'll go with that. That's okay. But once you allow him to play the Birmingham match, then you've put the ball back to him that in general, he can then play from then on. Okay,
I agree.
but
I agree.
okay, but the point I will absolutely concede to you, and we did it as well last season, is Parky does not rotate enough, in my opinion, for the level of squad we have. I have said this numerous times. We have a very strong bench. We have a very solid bench, and this is part of the reason that we come on so strong in the last 20 minutes. Because when we swap out our players, we have fresh legs, and those fresh legs at least are very, very close to the quality of those that came off. They may not be as good, but considering they are then fresh and they are coming on at the defense who are tired, and the other team can't take everybody off with fresh legs, so we tend to throw our attack on. Their defenders have to put up with it. Yes. So I agree with that. And I do agree with rotation. And this is a home match against, in theory, as I keep saying lately, in theory, a weaker team, a lower team in the league. So this is your potential opportunity to do that, to
And that's my thing.
rotate in players.
That's my thing, Patty, is against the lower teams, we know they're going to come at us. Why not go right back at them with our best offensive lineup?
I'm with you on that.
I'm with you on that. I would argue a little bit that the weaker teams come at us. In the majority, I actually think they sit back and give us the ball, and that completely messes with our counter-attacking play. That we are not comfortable on the ball, we're not fast enough on the ball to play around them, and they tend to just play defense more. Today, I was very surprised that Stevenage came at us this fast. And I was speaking to Ken about this just before we started offline, and I said that this is very different for them to come out like this. They are not an attacking side, and I think what they said is their manager turned around to him and said, "We are slow starters. We always tend to be slow starters. We're not in a rush at the start, as well at home." Maybe players are potentially saving their legs a little bit because they know they're going to play match after match after match. They don't rotate enough, which kind of leads into your rotation style. But for whatever reason, we tend to start slow. So maybe he turned around to them and said, "Right, guys, we are going to go for it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's on me. You go at them 100% first 15 minutes. And then we will readjust and decide."
Patty, mark my words. That happened today. The other teams at the bottom of the table are going to see that from Stevenage, and they're going to do the same fucking thing.
It's a blueprint. It's a blueprint.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because we are old, we are slow, and we're lethargic at the first 20 minutes of the first half.
Yeah, and this is part of the problem. Once we start showing the weaknesses and how to attack us, especially for the teams that are not getting as many points, they should be all over that. Absolutely. And what's to say they weren't majorly analyzing the Shrewsbury match?
Mm-hmm.
Steve, yeah, go ahead.
And I saw this coming weeks ago.
Yeah, I'd like to make a statement. What about this Bud Varson guy who scored like 3 or 4 goals over the last week?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, we can't find anyone to score a goal for us. And we had him literally 2 weeks ago.
It's Parky's system, man.
It's Parky's system. I like Bud Varson. To me, he looked like a player with experience. I don't understand what happened with him or why he was out of favor. And I've mentioned this a few times too. I think if anything, there's potential there that there was some locking of horns between Bud Varson and maybe the coaches. Because as well, it's kind of the Nordic attitude in general that you're very straight to the point. Maybe that rubbed someone the wrong way a little bit, because
You mean
in one of his
English people?
well, yeah, I guess if you want to put it that way, yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, I got a
we
buddy
all
from
know that there's
Oslo,
a
and
cultural difference.
they don't beat around the bush.
Yeah.
Look, it doesn't have to be purely English people, but yes, you know, it's a
I
different
was
style, and
making
some
a
people don't
joke.
like it.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Patty.
No,
It was just a
no,
joke.
no. Yeah, I just don't want other people to take it the wrong way. Yeah, it's a joke, absolutely. But like the Nordic people are very straight to the point, and they don't
Yeah, it's a
mean
cultural
anything
thing with
by
them.
it.
They
It's a
don't
cultural
bullshit.
thing. Yeah, it's not like they're attacking you for the sake of it. It's just they're being honest and straightforward.
They're blunt.
Is how they see it. They're blunt. Yeah. So maybe that
Well,
rubbed them the wrong way. But the fact that Mullen and like Marriott is out because of his injury, so that's not an issue yet. But Mullen is back. He has been back. He has been training for a long time. There should be no issue with his fitness levels and health, unless there's an
Yeah,
underlying
if
issue.
anything, it's
that they're hiding.
confidence.
Yeah. So there's no reason he shouldn't be back in the squad and scoring. And maybe it's the level of the defenders and also our style. It just is harder to do in this league. That he's not dropping on the chances. But I find it very surprising that Parky hasn't brought him in for a couple of matches from the very start now, and that he's bringing in.
Right.
Yeah, this is an odd
It's
one
like
for me.
when he comes on, he's so determined, and you can see it on his face. He's just so determined that he's like, I've got to perform. And it puts so much pressure on himself.
That's part of the problem.
He's putting so much pressure on himself. And just let him start the game and play. That's what I say.
Yeah. So I have two comments here that are kind of antithetical to each other. So I'm going to put them both up, and then we can just mention it. Carolyn HR. Dolby and Budvarsson are a testament to the fact that Parky cannot manage forwards. Okay. And then Tess responded with, Parky has great relationships with most players. We can't act like this is some common player issue. So I kind of agree with both of these statements.
I'm 50-50 on that.
Yeah, I'm a little from column A, a little from column B. I think it's our style and potentially the level of this league that is leading to issues with strikers not being able to get on the end of the ball as much with clear chances. They're getting chances, but they're not getting very easy chances. Like, when is the last? Can you even recall a goal this season that was a tap-in? That was a simple pass that we broke through the lines. You know, we've had a few passes through the line and then goals.
Yeah, there was definitely a cross pass that I don't know, Palmer or someone put in from the left side. That was just a literally a tap in, but that's the only one I can think of.
Well,
and I may be wrong.
Too, also a deflection from across.
Yeah, like I'm not talking about deflections and bounces and kind of stuff like that. I mean, like, we don't run the ball through. We don't break through lines, not in groups. Occasionally we can break through with one player and then he gets a shot off and maybe a goal from it. But we don't play that style of football at all. And it absolutely hurts the strikers. It makes it really difficult on them, which is potentially the reason for Dalby and Budvarsson. Now, Dalby had been with us for a long time and he couldn't do it at any level. But he was being asked to play a different style. He was absolutely being asked to play a different style.
That's why I keep also harping on us reinforcing through the midfield, so we can start playing through the midfield and not be so dependent on making plays through the wings, or through Barney, because we can't do anything from the left side.
And so, Patty, I have a question.
Okay, go on.
My question is, I guess I'm sort of implicitly understanding that Parky Ball isn't going to make it in the championship.
Probably not.
He could keep us in the championship, but as far as getting into the playoffs or getting promoted to the Premier, no. He'll keep us
Yeah,
to the lower end of the middle table, but that'll be it. He'll be fine for consolidation.
Yeah, that's a very valid point, actually, to be fair. I do see Parky being able to keep us out of relegation. But to drive up through the leagues into the higher positions, yes, I think that would be fair. Just trying to find
that.
I just think it's a little bit.
Why,
it's a difference of style.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
When the inevitable change comes, I'm a big fan of Russell Martin, the former Southampton manager.
Well, he's certainly going to get his shot if he gets us up there soon. He's going to get his shot at championship, and I'm not a big fan of Parky out.
No, I'm not calling for it. I think he's going to cause it himself, because if he doesn't adjust, if he keeps being stubborn, I think he'll cause it himself. And I don't want that. I'd like, but
I love Parky.
yeah. I think he's an
He's
awesome
done
man. I mean, you see it
things
through the
for-
documentary and everything. He's legitimately a good dude, but he's a stubborn coach.
I do think Parky has his favorites. I think that's clear. He does have his favorites, and he does potentially play them too much. So
I agree.
Okay, John has a.
And you know what? If you're gonna have a, I don't know, a negative, loving your players too much is not.
No, yeah. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know.
Now, one comment here from John, and then I'm going to bring Stace in. Stace wanted to get in on the action, so we'll hear what she has to say. So John Merrill, I said it on the phone-in show after our game. The amount of times I've seen a team raise their game against us and perform really well, and then have a stinker the very next game. Now, that is just true enough. And I think this is something similar with us. A lot of teams like to try their hand versus the Hollywood team. So they also do that for us. But we also do the same in that we play down to other teams. We step up for all the big teams around us, but then we just don't do it with the weaker teams. So I'll leave that one there, guys, and I'll bring Stacey in and give her some time. Hello, Stace. Are you there?
Love Stace.
No sound at the moment, Stace. We can't hear you.
Major Tom to ground control.
Okay, I'm going to switch you out to the other one. Let's try again. Stacey?
Maybe hurrying.
Yeah, Stace, if you go into your settings and have a look at your mic settings, sometimes it defaults to a mic that doesn't work.
Okay.
Maybe. Oh, hang on. There we go. We got you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, you have the floor. What would you like to say? Oh, maybe you're gone
We
again.
lost her again.
We heard you there for 1 second. You said okay.
Hello, Wixie.
A good time.
So,
oh, hang on.
Oh,
we heard you there. We heard you there.
I was going to tell a dirty joke.
Well, you didn't hear me cursing, thankfully.
Okay, we can hear you now. Good.
Okay, good. Sorry about that.
You're okay, go ahead.
So it's probably going to be very controversial what I say, to be fair, because as a very long Wrexham fan and suffering Welsh girl, I would say since Parky's took over, I've always got behind him. And if anyone says It's purely his fault, solely his fault. I've always said, nah, you've got to blame the players as well. I'm afraid this game, that first half, is mostly Parky's fault. Because he set up the team to climb a huge mountain. Firstly, who in their right mind thinks putting Ollie Palmer and then Elliot Lee together works? No one that has a sane mind thinks that works. It doesn't, because first off, Ollie Palmer is a false nine striker. He sits deep. That's his role. He sits deep. And then Parky decides to start playing him up, on his own, where he just can't do it on his own because he's not that type of striker. He's a false nine that sits deep. It doesn't work. And then, I don't want to be awful because I don't like calling the players out, as you know, but Elliot Lee has added no value the whole season, actually. The whole season he's added no value. So to put a player up there with Ollie Palmer that's playing dog shit, I'm sorry, for the whole season. In fact, the wind put his bloody goal in the back of the net. It wasn't
that
Elliot Lee
PL?
scoring the goal, it was the bloody wind. That's how bad he's been. Like, he's added no value, but we continue to play him. Now, I know we struggle for someone else to challenge him for that role, so that doesn't help either. But honest to God, like, I'm not a happy person after that game. That was fucking infuriating.
Okay. One sec there, Stace. I'm going to check if Tess in the background is ready to come on. I haven't got any response, but it looks like they might be ready. So let's find out. 2 seconds.
Okey-dokey.
Tess, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Hey, good to be here. Never done one of these before.
Okay.
How's it going, everybody?
Hi,
Good,
Tess.
good. You're on with Stacey, Steve, and James. So
Hey,
guys,
welcome.
we'll try and let Tess and Stace take over for a little bit. Oh, hang on, we got one more. What shoe's this? Boom.
Hey-oh.
Oh, there's Aaron.
Okay, so
Hi.
let's give Tess 2 minutes because you just joined. Go ahead.
I hate to be that guy. The fan base sort of makes me feel like the ultimate happy clapper, but I just feel like everybody's super like the sky is falling all the time. Like a month from now, we could win 3 games, and people are like, "This is a miracle. We almost might get the first back-to-back ever."
Okay.
And I'm not saying Parkinson's not above criticism. Everybody should be criticized all the time. But every manager, every player, every team has massive flaws. Massive. And people say, well, the players should play super hard. And they should. But if you watch sports long enough, you know that every team has games where they take the foot off the gas. It shouldn't happen. It's the way human beings are wired. It's just the way it is. I've never seen a champion that was amazing every game. It's very rare.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I've said from the start of the season we're not going to
Actually,
do
the
it. I said
1972 Dolphins.
I said we're not even going to get playoffs, and that's not me being a negative person, because I said last season we're going to do it, and we did. I'm always behind the players. As you know, I'm friends with a couple of the players, so I don't ever really like to call out the players, but today has been a special occasion where I have. It's just frustrating. On the flip side of things, I'm just happy to be in League One. But of course, some of us fans are going to be mad at that game today. And rightly fucking so, because it was embarrassing. It really was embarrassing for such
It was.
a team that has a huge squad depth. We don't have shit players. Yeah, we have a couple that are probably struggling in League One, and we knew they were going to. But again, we still got a decent squad. So that's why people are frustrated. It's not that, oh, we're shit, we're not good enough, we're not going to do it. It's just purely, it isn't good enough, really, is it? And we're continuously playing players that are underperforming, and they're knackered as well.
Amen.
Like Elliot Lee, he's got nothing in the tank. He's got absolutely nothing. You can see it in him. So why are we continually to play someone that's absolutely exhausted and can't perform?
But we don't really have a replacement for that. The Parky's
I said that
hamstrung.
before. I
Parky's
know.
hamstrung because Mullen sucks right now. Maybe it's back injury stuff. Maybe it's something else. JM is not in full fitness, and Elliot Lee sucks. It's like, and we're hamstrung because I think we give Parky way too much crap, and we let the players off a ton. Like, you can tell when most of our players, the second a defender runs up on them, they get so frantic. It looks like a killer is about to hit them, and they punt the ball. Like, I love Tom O'Connor more than anyone. That dude looks terrified when somebody comes at him, and he often kicks the ball out of play. And it's like, I don't know what Parky's supposed to do about that. Parky can't be like, hey, guys, have more composure during a match. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For one,
Okay.
he could pick a better team.
But who's that better team?
Well, I mean, that team
for
that we played
starters-
today, the team we played today was set up to be very defensive.
Yeah.
Right,
You
but
played
Yes.
one striker, 4 midfielders, okay, 5 at the back. We don't have wingers, we have wing backs, so they're having to defend too. That team was set up to defend. We were playing Stevenage at home, and we brought out a team that was set up to defend.
But haven't we always
That
done the
is on
whole
Parky.
winger? Haven't we always done the whole winger as wingback thing?
Yeah, absolutely. But we also usually have 2 strikers up front.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But Fletcher's too old to play.
And
If
then,
you wanna-
okay, so let's go position by position. Let's look at the midfield. Is Dobson an attacking midfielder or a defensive midfielder?
No, I don't.
CDM.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
So
with you.
why would he be playing in a forward? He's playing as an 8. That's a defensive move, which worked great against Birmingham because they were going to have the ball, and we needed to play that way against Birmingham.
Rather than
But when
James,
you're playing against Stevenage, you don't play like that.
but rather than
Parky.
James Dobson and Rathbone, do you want Cannon instead of one of them?
It would have been It would have been better than Rathbone's fine. Rathbone can play attacking. Dobson's wasn't the one to play. Honestly, the best thing, what we should have done, I don't understand why he didn't do it. We should have been playing with, if Marriott's not fit, fine, then it should have been Mullen up front. You should have had 2 strikers. We should have had Lee in the midfield with Rathbone, because as soon as we made that change after halftime, it was a different game.
Parky's a defensive manager. He always has been. Always, even before he joined us, he's a defensive manager, and that's why he's performed poorly at other clubs. Not all, but some. That's why he's performed poorly, because his mindset is defensive, and he almost can't take those blinkers off. So he's underestimated Stevenage today and set us up defensively, and just completely didn't see this coming, probably in his eyes. So Stevenage are like, what, 3rd for the most goals scored or something like that in the league? Like, they're down there.
Yeah.
So he's totally underestimated them, set us up defensively as usual anyway, because he's a very defensive manager. And it just doesn't work. Like, he needs to take his blinkers off and actually try something new for once. Like, how many times can you guys count on your hand how many times he tries something new?
Parky is perfectly happy with getting a shithouse win or a draw.
If he does something
I
new,
agree.
it's generally when he's forced.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Can I bring a possible counterpoint to that? Maybe a question.
Go on.
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
So I definitely think that that's true. And you guys know this sport much better than me. I know, like, American sports where there's not like this sort of tiered system of quality. I always wonder if he had a very diverse set of tactics at League One level, are our players good enough to sort of master all of them? Because when I look right now, I look at very flawed players out there. I just do. I don't like Dobson, Rathbone. Most of our players are not very good with the ball, just in general. So for me, I'm always like, maybe he simplifies it because it's much easier to sort of play that way rather than having players that can sort of do like a jack of all trades, different style, and flow together and be cohesive.
I mean, that's fine. I just don't understand. I don't understand this obsession with Elliot Lee as a up front. That doesn't work.
Yeah, it
It
doesn't
hasn't
work.
worked. I don't think we've scored more than one goal anytime we've lined up in that formation like that.
No,
I
agree.
understand why he did it to initially, because he needed, like, we had to do something different because we didn't have Marriott and Mullen was struggling. So I understood it at the time when he first did it, but to just continually go back to it and back to it
Yeah.
and back to it and it not work.
What
Okay,
annoys
guys, one
me
sec. Sorry.
is
Sorry, Stace, for cutting me off there. We have another guest in the background who's been waiting for a little bit, so I'm going to bring them in now. Blank canvas. And Steve had his hand up. He was waiting to make a comment there. So we'll come back to you in 2 seconds, Stace.
no
Yeah, no
worries.
problem.
Steve, go ahead.
So I guess my point is I just keep, I hate to harp on it, but we've just got so much talent on the bench. And we paid so much money for this talent on the bench. Why aren't they on the pitch? That's, I guess, my bitch.
Because Parky is very, very stubborn, and he usually sticks to what we've played before. So again, starting 11 again. Like, he's just like, I know people call him a dinosaur. I think that's a slight bit harsh, but in other wordings, I would say he's just very, very stubborn. He just sticks to the same thing 9 times out of 10. Is just the type of manager that he is. Now, he's not. I love Parky. He's brought us so far from
I love
the
them
depths of
too.
hell, but at this point in a league where our tactics are easily read. So Stevenage read us like a book today, knew exactly where they needed to be, where we were going to be.
Yeah.
In League One, you can't be playing like this. It worked in the National League. We scraped it in League Two, really, if you think about it, because again, it's a step up with teams. League One is like 3 steps up with the types of teams that are in this league, and you can't continue playing the way he is with his tactics. You just can't, because the players in League One are way more switched on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey
Can I
everyone.
agree with you?
I think just something, just whilst you were talking, Stace, I think something that that crossed my mind is that if we look across this season, we haven't lost that much up until the last month in particular, where things have really started to be a little bit ropey, and those sort of last minute wins have started to turn into draws, and now we're getting a couple of losses. So I think, in fairness, Parky's in a slightly unfamiliar scenario, or at least it's been a while since he's been in this situation. So I think now is the real tester over Parky and his sort of his knowledge and experience as to whether or not he digs in his heels and he's stubborn and he does the same old, and we get more inconsistent results, or does he actually try and switch things around, and then we might end up seeing a new wave of Wrexham, which I think all the fans are calling for now. And in fairness, if he does switch the squad up a bit, or the formations, and we lose or we play badly, I'm not sure how disappointed the fans would be over that, because we've been calling for change, so it looks like he would listen.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, one point I'd like to add there, kind of on the Parky dinosaur thing, is because he will stick so rigidly to his plan. What we tend to end up with is other teams will adjust to play against us. So we have to beat the best form of them, because they adjust into the hardest version of themselves in order to play us. Whereas we don't. We offer the same thing again and again. And what has kind of worked in our favor is not as many teams use our style and formation. They're not as used to defending it. And that has worked in the past. And like the last couple of seasons, it has helped us, and it has gotten us over the line. And it's a question of, does Parky absolutely believe that by the end of the season, we are going to get enough points from the teams doing that? Then he's not going to change it. If that's his belief and that's his mindset, he's not going to change very much. He's going to keep doing it until the very end. And potentially, look, there's nothing wrong with that if it works. It has so far. But at some point, I think it's going to stop working. And I think we have seen some signs that too many people are reacting to us and coming up with strategies to beat us, / get a draw, / make it really difficult on us, because we've been lucky with some of our matches. We've known that for a while.
Yeah, I think the big thing that I can only think of that must be going through Parky's mind as to why he's not switching it at least a little bit is knowing that Jack Marriott's coming back. So perhaps he's really banking on that being his sort of success card, carry on doing what he's doing like it's worked at the start of the season. The big difference being that Jack Marriott's back and Mullen potentially is over his back injury. Maybe we'll start to see at least an improvement from what he's been like previously, which I think will be interesting. So he might not want to change things too much with that in mind, but I certainly think from the fan perspective, we need something different.
I just think, several games now where our wingers are just not performing the way we need them to as well. I thought McLean and Barney were really poor today as well. And what really irritates me is we don't switch the play enough either. Yeah. It really winds me up, I'll be honest. We just don't utilise the wing enough either, and that's probably because, we're playing wingers that are struggling, i.e. McLean. Like today, he was struggling. Some player he is, he's great, but recently I feel like he's been struggling from what I've been watching anyway. And yeah, we just don't utilise that wing enough. We playing it, driving it through midfield and losing possession more times than I can count on my hand today. Not utilising the wing, and then when we did get it to the wing, we weren't switching it to the other side, just letting them take the ball off us instantly. It winds me up, it does. It's like one of my pet peeves.
I can see us bringing in a few new players of higher quality and a higher standard, and very quickly they'll be plugged in, and if they can do the job Parky wants them to do, that may be enough to get us over the line, and enough to chase automatics. I think that's what he's going to do, and I don't see much changing for the rest of the season. And if it doesn't work, hopefully we're still in the playoffs.
But I think more pressure should be put on the owners here. We've had all this big talk about more stakeholder investors coming in, and there's more money, and we've done well to get to League, or amazingly to get to League One now, and we're potentially looking at another promotion. And with all that in mind, we haven't really spent that much relative to where we are today. And we're only looking at one player really that at least is sort of glaringly obvious, which is that we need another striker. Why aren't we talking about that one mega signing to make a statement? Because if we do go all out and we spend over $1 million, what if it's 2 million or 3 million, and really break the bank and make that signing, that statement? What's the risk in doing that versus not?
I think it's because we don't actually have the money right now, and I know that people will think, "What? Of course we do." Realistically, we don't, because
we don't from a
building a new
sustainability
stand.
point of view.
Yeah, we've prioritised other things like building a new stand, which is going to cost ridiculous money, new training ground, pumping money into the academy, the young lads, just
but remember,
building
these
new
things
stands
aren't
and
done
moving.
from a financial perspective, these things aren't purchased as like a 1 year sort of a payout. You know, they are spread across. Even if the completion is now, you know, these are loans that they'll be taking. They won't be using all of their money because that's not how they do business. So the same with the player. If they buy a player today for 3 million, they won't be paying 3 million right now. And actually, I think if you were to spread that cost over 3 years, it's quite insignificant, including the new stadium or stand, the new stand. You know, these aren't that significant relative to where we are, even if it means 1 year or 2 years where we're, you know, in a negative net profit perspective for long-term growth. It's worth it, which is what you see with other clubs do. A bit like with Birmingham, obviously they've taken it to the extremities, but they have pretty much guaranteed promotion now. And we're not saying we need to buy that many more players, and certainly don't need to be spending the same amounts that they did. But one sort of star signing, I think, is needed, and I think it does give that statement and that fear factor that we don't have at the moment.
It'd be interesting to see what our new CEO does as well. I've got my eye on her very closely to see what she does.
What did she say? It's going to be exceptional.
Yeah.
She's not CEO, but I personally think we will still spend money. I don't think we're done. So let's put a pin in that just a little bit, and see what comes of that. But with regard to the profit and sustainability and all of this, we have not stopped because of the back-to-back. So therefore, we are not building up our liquidity with a comfortable season where you only need to do small upgrades in players, and the fan base, the international base is growing, more income and revenue is coming in. So every time we get promoted, we have new expenses, more players, higher wages, and we have been advancing our team. But there's only so much you can do with that. You know, you really need a level, well, at least a year, where you don't have major increase in costs, but we still have growth in our income, which we do still have. So from that point of view, if we end up still in League One next year, we're not going to have major increases in our costs, and we are going to be able to spend more money and upgrade our team slowly and make a very good fight of it next season and then go up. But I do think there is money there to do an investment, and I think we're so close we should, but I don't think we should do ridiculous money either. So for me, it's very much a balancing act, all of it. It really is.
Yeah, I've said it before. Like I'm absolutely buzzing to be in League One. I could have only dreamt to be playing against teams like Barnsley and others, to be fair. So would I be super upset that we don't go up to the Championship? Not really, to be honest. I wouldn't. But I still do get frustrated at watching us play like dog shit, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think it's one of those situations. I think Josh in the live stream mentioned it, which is around, it's the fact that we are so close to that potential automatic promotion that puts so much pressure and that desire to do it. And considering we are so close with not necessarily that many games left to go, do we take the hit? You know, because like before, talking about the financial situation, getting into the Championship obviously increases costs, but the amount of revenue that comes through is also quite significantly increased again. So that's just where, you know, people agree and disagree. For me, I think it's worth the risk, because I think it's guaranteed that we're in League One next year as a minimum. So then let's just take the hit, and if we fail, then at least we've still got a top striker for next year. That's just where I see it. And so with that, I think there's potentially less pressure on Parky and more of a shout out to the owners to at least give us some reasoning as to why we're not, if we don't do it.
Agree with
Aaron,
that.
you haven't said too much.
No, I'm still. You guys have moved on, and I'm still steaming over the game. So, I mean, all said and done, this result's not the end of the world. It's just frustrating when we play so badly, and it's so obvious as what the problem is. I don't think we need I think some people think we need like a major change in formation. I don't think we need a major change. I think we just need to go back to doing what we do. We just get back to a 3-5-2 and actually play it the way we play it, and we're fine. When we were through the first like 6 or 7 weeks of the season, we were the highest scoring team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just doing what we do. We were very good defensively and we were very good offensively. And it was just 3-5-2, going forward, getting balls forward, getting pressure up. But we had the right players in the right positions.
But do you not think, due to the lack of rotation, the players at this point of the season are just starting to get a little bit burnt out, and that's why we're starting to see the
I think so.
rather than
Yeah,
being
for
100%,
sure.
we're playing at 80% now.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm not doubting that at all. But I think when we're playing, when we've changed to a different way of a different formation, which has changed like Stace said she didn't think our wingers were very good today, or wingbacks. I disagree. I didn't think they were that bad. The problem was the whole first half, every cross that they put in there, they only had one man in the box, and it was Palmer, and he was covered by 2 men. Nobody else was in the box. McLean put a beautiful ball into the box, and there's nobody there. So it's if there's nobody there,
yeah.
Why is that? What's the problem? Well, Elliot Lee's standing on the D because he's playing behind Palmer, and he can't get there in time. We're not if we were playing a 2 striker system like we usually play, there's an extra man in the box, and then those 2 strikers are 1-on-1 with the defender instead of 2 defenders sitting on top of one guy. And that's what we were running into today. The whole entire first half, every cross that got put in the air was a waste of time because we were completely covered up. And then as soon as we made the change, it was like night and day. As soon as we made that change, it was all of a sudden we're going forward, we're making things happen, And then they got that last goal they got was because we were pushing up so high. We're chasing a game and got pushing high, and that happens. But it's just it's frustrating when to me it's been obvious for 3 or 4 weeks that we've got to get away from this. We got to, this Elliot Lee experiment up front isn't working, and we just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. And like I said, for Birmingham, it was fine because we needed to be defensive. But when you're playing a team like Stevenage, who we should be controlling the ball, we should be putting pressure on them. It just was never going to work.
Yeah, I think you should also potentially discount the Birmingham game because we know that every Wrexham player is going to step up for that. So really, the Shrewsbury game should have been the wake-up call of hang on a minute. We've been scraping by, and then suddenly we played terribly, or ultimately we lost. And then now, ignore the Birmingham game. Now we've just had another shocker that has to be. It doesn't matter how good you are, you have to sort of analyze the situation and realize that change does need to come. It might be short-term change, might just be small change, but we do have to do something a little bit different, or at least for part of the game. And I think bringing on the subs, like everyone's mentioned, that was night and day. That made a massive impact. So hopefully into the next game, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is the next game an EFL game? Is that right? So that might.
No, it's not. So the next match we have is Crawley away. Then we have the EFL.
So maybe the EFL is the one to. Oh, sorry.
No, you're okay. Then we have a cancelled League One match. Then we have another away match, Northampton, and then another away match, Mansfield. So our next 3 matches now are all away from home. So
Joyful.
joyful, absolutely. So that's Crawley Town, Northampton, and then Mansfield. Okay, so this next 3 matches could really break our season and hurt us and put us right down the playoffs, or we need to step up and take a lot of points out of those.
Yeah, how I would look at it is next game, try and get some consistency, calm things down, try not to look like we're collapsing. And then in the EFL, that's when you can switch things up a bit. It would be nice to get to Wembley, but to be honest, Wembley or promotion for me. Try a few things out. If they don't work, then that's okay. We can go back to our current style, if you like, or current lineup, moving into the next League One game. That's how I would review it.
Okay. Guys, we do have another guest in the background. I've let them sit there a little bit too long now, so I'm sorry. JP Lamb, I hope you're ready. I'm going to bring you in and say hi.
Hey,
hello,
everybody.
Are you there? Hey, sorry for leaving you sit there for a little bit.
Oh, good. First time here in WREXtra Time as well. So hi everybody. Hi Freddie. Hi Aaron. Stacey.
Hi, how you doing?
Jay.
Hi.
Now when you guys were talking about the bringing in extra talent or spending extra big bucks, I also think we don't need to. I'm with you, Aaron. I think we did really well at the start of the season. We have the ingredients. We have the players. And it was night and day in the second half. And I don't know why nobody said this, but we won the second half. The second half, we let a goal in. It was a fantastic goal for them. They played really well for that second goal, but we scored twice because we were playing really well. And if we had that team in the first half, we might have been ahead. And then you bring in your defensive players or whatever you try to close the game off in the second half, and that should have been the way to play. I think Parky was in the last not just this game but in the last few games he's had the same formation the same 11, and he was trying to play more defensively, trying to sneak a ball in for some reason and try and tire them out to bring in our super subs, which in the last few games we already saw it was lacking. It was lucky balls, and it was and I think we can't keep being that lucky going forward.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So our league, how it's looking at the moment, just so everybody's aware. So Birmingham City are first, 26 played, 2 games in hand. They're sitting on 60. Wycombe Wanderers are in second, having played 28, the same as us. They are on 58 points. And we are now in third on 52 points. So at the moment, we are 6 points behind Wycombe, who we're going to have to chase down. Huddersfield is then in fourth behind us. They have played 47 with 1 game in hand. They are currently sitting at 48 points after their loss today. And if they take their game in hand, they'll be 1 point behind us. So that's where it's sitting right now.
I think if you, I looked at this about a week ago, so I could be wrong, but I had a look at Wycombe's fixtures, and if you have a look in like the March, April time, I know that's a bit away, but it looked particularly tough for them. And I think we also have to play them one more time. So
we do
6 points, and they do seem to have some tough games there. I think if we get to 9 points, then that's for me is the cut-off point with the amount of games we have left. But I'm still quite optimistic that Wycombe are going to slip up at least one more time. So I think in terms of our 9 lives, I'd say we've probably got 1 more left on that one for me, especially knowing Wycombe's fixtures that look a bit tough.
Well, do we think they're going to sell Connie? Would you sell Connie with it being in automatic promotion spot?
I don't know what their financial circumstances are, but I seem to think they're all right.
Yeah, I almost don't care what your financials are.
Yeah.
Automatic spot.
Depends how close he is to the
Yes, of
manager as
course.
well with that
Yeah,
relationship.
yes.
Because if he was to go, then he's rejoining his manager, isn't he? So I think
Mhm.
that has a lot to do with it as well.
Yeah, I've said this all season, so I'm not going to change now. But I do think Wycombe are going to slip up, and I think they're going to have, especially with a couple of players already leaving, I think they are going to find it tough. It might take them 5 games or so before we see it from now, but I do think it's coming.
What is going on in the background with Wycombe for them to all of a sudden drop players when they're sitting in second? It's like it's not something you see very often if a team is doing very well, is
Well,
it? You lose the manager, you start losing some players, granted.
part of it was I think they had 2 or 3 loan players that were big players for them, and they
Yeah.
all got recalled. So
Yeah.
that hurt right away. So it wasn't that they were selling players; it's just that their loans got recalled. So that's not. Yeah, I mean, you can't really blame them too much for that.
No.
But and then you get your manager poached. I mean, he's not going to pass up a chance in the championship. So I don't blame him for taking a decent job.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know what you mean though. It is weird that they're so good, and then it seems like the team's falling apart. But I really do think though, if they can hold on to Kone, that makes them really tough to catch because they will score goals.
Well, something to say on that is the matches that remain between the top 4 could very well decide a lot of this. Because we have now played Birmingham, so we have the least here to play. We still have to play Wycombe, we still have to play Huddersfield. But everybody else still have to play each other, all of them. So
And I think some of them are really close together when you look at it. It might be Wycombe's. They seem to have them within like a 1 month or something like that. It looks particularly tough.
yeah. So for Wycombe, it could come down to their match versus Birmingham, ourselves, and Huddersfield. There's a lot of points there that they can lose if they don't take out those matches. So we'll see. There's going to be some big matches coming there, which will make a difference.
Yeah. So like you were saying, in March 1st, Wycombe are at Birmingham, and then they've got a home game to Burton, and they're at Peterborough, but then they're at home to us, and then the following game they are away to Huddersfield. So in March they're going to play all 3 of the teams that are up there with them, at least right now up there with them. So yeah, that March will be a big month for Wycombe.
But before that, we have February.
Right.
We have to survive.
We may be in
have to
trouble.
survive February.
We may be in trouble after February. It's hard to tell.
That's what the Wrexham lager's for.
Yeah,
might need a lot.
absolutely.
Another thing, I don't know if you guys touched on it because I was kind of late getting in, but that we keep dropping points, and that 6th and 7th place keep creeping up on us, getting closer and closer. I know it was about a week and a half ago. I think we were 13 points clear of 7th, and right now we are 8 points clear. So that's falling away quickly. So if we keep dropping points, we could find ourselves in trouble in a hurry.
Yeah, I overheard someone mention that there's this potential bad situation, which is where if you drop into the playoffs, you do have those teams that are on like a real high at the moment, like Leighton, who are going to be the last teams you want to play in the playoffs. So I think that's quite scary, really, as a thought, when you see how well they've done recently, and there are some other teams coming through as well. So I think certainly the playoffs, regardless of where Wrexham are, it's going to be quite a stressful time.
Yeah.
Leighton aren't a bad team either, to be fair.
No. And I don't know what Bolton are going to do, obviously, this time towards the end of the season, because regardless, they're still a big team, which does mean something.
And there's that kind of like saying as well, if you're at the top of the playoffs table, you actually dropped from the top, so you're not on a hot streak, whereas and you're playing against a bottom of the table who probably had a really good run of games, snuck into that bottom part of the playoffs, and then it's somebody who's slipping versus somebody who's on a good run.
Yeah.
Well, with history and form, we don't want to be anywhere near playoffs. we are not a good playoff team.
Yeah.
No. But we're going to get promoted, so it's fine.
Yeah. So on that bombshell, thanks everyone. Good night.
Yep.
the most positive thing we've said all night. But we're going up in second anyway.
Wait, have we talked about Longman?
No,
No,
we haven't mentioned Longman all night.
What does everyone think about our new guy Longman?
I don't know yet, to be honest. Kind of felt sorry for him coming on, to be honest.
Yeah.
I felt bad for him. Yeah, I've not really seen enough of how he's gonna slot into us yet. Ask me again in a few more games if he's been played.
Well, one thing I will say is he did, like, almost his first touch, he seemed comfortable. He was up the right-hand side wing. He had two defenders coming at him, trying to close him down, and he looked comfortable on the ball. He didn't look nervous about it. He didn't look too stressed. And, you know, he seemed happy enough there. So for comfort on the ball and kind of game management and stuff like that, he seemed to look pretty good. And we've another guest. It keeps on coming. Boom.
Hey, first time caller, long time listener. How are you? I don't know if you guys are shutting down, but I just wanted to say hi.
We just started talking about Longman. Stace, were you saying something?
She's still there. She may have dropped out.
Okay.
I'm excited about him. I think he's come at a time when we need a little bit of positivity, a little bit of change, and so I think whether it's to do with Marriott, whether it's to do with Longman, what we can say is when they came on, that's when the team started playing well. So I'm going to give it to Longman and say he's had a good start to a terrible game.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I love John Merrill says, "Hey Josh, how's the mud? It's pretty deep. It's pretty deep." Everyone, what happened? Patty, I blame you. I blame Aaron for loving O'Connell.
Oh, don't you put that evil on me. You know what happened. You just don't want to agree with me.
You had to start it now. We hadn't even mentioned Scar. Now
I didn't mention Scar. You did.
I did.
I just said, you know what happened. That back line looked like Swiss cheese.
Do you have Swiss cheese in Idaho?
They were ready for church. They were holy.
Honestly, that one's on Parkinson.
To be fair, I didn't get to watch a lot of the game, so I can't really judge much other than we gave up 3 goals. But I didn't get to watch like a ton of the game. I was trying to watch in as I could. So I can't make a fair judgment on them. I just wanted to throw that out there to stir it up a little bit.
It was not an exceptional game.
No.
Yeah.
The good news is it's over.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We don't have to do it again. Well, at least not against them.
But isn't that so sad to say? Come on. It was Stevenage, for God's sake.
Yeah, it's terrible.
That's on Parkinson. He talked about the pregame. Hey, Black Canvas at JP Land, by the way. That's on Parkinson talking about we got to be first and seconds, and it's going to be a different type of game. And he plays the same team.
Yeah.
So, Are you not evolving? I don't understand. So are you practicing what you're preaching? I don't understand. Like it confuses me. It literally confuses me. It's like I don't understand. I really don't understand. I'm confused.
Josh, have you seen his post-match interview? Because I haven't seen that yet, but it'd be interesting to know what his thoughts were.
I did not.
Oh, it just popped up right now as we're doing that 25 seconds ago. So
Okay.
yeah, WREXtra Time will come up in a little bit. So yeah. But I only watch it live with all of you. So I let Patty deal with all of you to deal with all the aftermath. He's got to navigate
all the yelling and screaming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Guys, I have to go as well. So I've got something else to be on.
All right.
It was on.
JP, what's more important than this?
More important than this? It's actually Chinese New Year, first day. I should spend some time with my kids. So thanks everyone. It was great to be on. All right,
thanks for coming on.
That bombshell.
There you go.
Okay.
He's like a regular.
He's like, yeah.
Okay, so we have a question from the crowd here, from John. Did your keeper have a mare? Footmob gave him a 3.5 rating. I just had a look, and that is correct. 3.5.
Yeah,
he was.
Yeah, he didn't have a good game.
No.
But only based on 2 or 3 scenarios.
JP, that's an understatement. You had a crap game.
Okay. So let's play a little game here. Who is our next lowest player, according to Footmob? It's less than a
Palmer.
6. Palmer, 5.7. Yeah. Next.
Lee.
One more under 6.
Elliot Lee.
Yeah.
O'Connor.
No.
Scar.
Oh, Aaron.
I was guessing.
Okay.
I like I said, I honestly didn't watch him enough today to make a judgment on him.
Okay, so I'm just going to call out the rest of them. So we have Scar at 5.9. Next, we have James at 6.1. O'Connor at 6.6. Barnett at 6.9. And then we move to the 7s. Lee 7.1. Kluwert 7.4. James McLean at 7.6. And then 8.1 for Ollie Rathbone.
Yeah.
Oh, Dobson is 7.8 as well. I missed him.
They're very generous ratings, I'd say.
For some of them, yes. But it looks kind of okay. As its scale, I think it's kind of okay. Barnett had a horrible match. His sighting was totally off today. James didn't do a lot. Palmer did nothing. Scar, yeah, defense was bad with goals, so of course he's low. Then everyone else had okay, actually, ish.
What did you say Mullins was?
Oh, I didn't look at those ones. So they gave Mullen a 6.3, Fletcher a 5.9, Marriott a 6.1, and Longman a 6.1. So they didn't really give much to the guys that came on.
Yeah.
That I think is a little off, actually.
Yeah.
Those ones I think are a bit off, but maybe that's because they're on such little time. The way they do their scores or whatever, wasn't great. Okay, Lee. Now we touched on Lee earlier, and I think it was a very fair comment, and it was Racecourse actually earlier put it up, but we didn't really discuss it, so I'm going to put it up now again. Elliot Lee has 6 goals and 3 assists. He's not controlling games like he did in lower leagues, but he's basically done more than anybody else for us. So a lot of us have criticized Lee. There's a lot of matches he does not look like he's doing particularly much. But is that a fair comment?
He's played out of position.
Yeah, he's definitely out of position. I think there's quite a lot of love for Lee, but when he's played in the right position.
I thought he looked, from what I saw, I thought he looked really good when they dropped him back to his normal 8, that 8 role.
I don't know why he persists with playing him in there. On that note, is the Is the Palmer and Elliot Lee experiment over up front, or is
I
this guy?
fucking hope so.
Is he going to learn?
I hope so, but no.
Well, we've all been dreaming of the Mullen and Marriott scenario where they properly have some time to gel. That's
Still not going to
surely
happen. No,
it has to.
nope, he's not going to do it.
Oh.
The only way we change this is new players.
Yeah, but you're not going to play him.
Well, we'll see about that.
Hey, there's a guy named Bud Vartan. Pretty good.
Yeah, he's doing well.
He's
We
pretty
mentioned
good.
him earlier.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I was listening. Yeah, sorry, I'm just shocked. I'm in shock.
Chris Phillips there. The fix was in. Too bad no one told us to bet on it. Thanks, Chris, for your $2 super chat.
So should we just forego Wrexham reaction and then just do the interview here, or do you guys want to make me suffer after this is over?
I'm down. Run it.
Yeah.
Oh, James Lee's coming back in. Oh shit! Here, I'll get out. You guys go. I'll do the Wrexham reaction. Let James in. He's having it. I'll get out. I'll get out. You guys go. I'll get us up to the next show. Go.
Okay, James. Before I bring you in, enhance your cam. Enhance your cam.
I'm good. No, I'm good. I wanted to holler at Josh, actually.
Okay. I saw you in, man.
I was wanting to holler at Josh.
Go on.
No. Parky's not going to change anything, Josh. He's been running with this lineup since what? Right after JM went down is when he went to this lineup.
Yeah.
It's been what, 2 months now. So he's not going to change it, brother. He's going to beat this horse until it's dead, and then some.
I thought it died tonight in the first half. I thought it died.
It's the horse Palmer.
It died against Shrewsbury, brother. Aaron, it died against Shrewsbury.
By the I gotta go set for next show. I love you all. I love you.
And on that bombshell.
Okay, guys, we have done 1 hour and 22 minutes. So I think that is pretty much it for tonight. Otherwise, we're going to start going around in circles. Racecourse put up a comment here. Hemp was man of the match, and he was a free agent in the summer.
Yeah.
So we all have the next week to follow all the rumors online to see who we're potentially getting, and then whether we get anybody at all. So next Tuesday is the deadline, I think, isn't it? Second?
Monday.
Monday.
It's Monday.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna, well, if we bring in somebody that's 37 or 27, 28, 29, I'm gonna lose it. We've got to get younger.
If we get the Smith, I want these 33. So.
Yeah, I don't care about the age. If it gets us to the championship, we just need someone with quality and experience at the moment.
No, I want the
If
Smith
it's a
upgrade
short-term
for Palmer.
loan, I'll take that. But if we're buying them, I don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Patty. I'll holler at you guys.
Take care, James.
See you, buddy.
Thank you for coming in, everybody. That is it for the week. And we will be on the next one. And the next one, and the next one. We'll keep this going. If you keep watching, I'll keep coming back. Like the proverbial bad penny. So on that bombshell, guys, we are out. We'll see you again.
Thanks for having me.